Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Our respectful homage to our most venerable Pinnathla Swamin Wahanse, our teacher Bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear Dhamma friends, dear children, we are so grateful to our Pinnathla Swamin Wahanse, our teacher Bante, for giving this beautiful book about the great being, the Supreme Buddha. I use this book for my uh, presentations to you before, but fortunately, unfortunately, we have the English translation now, like this. I always try to translate the things, uh, and then if you remember, once in the first episode, I was talking about the quotes from Mahakassapa Maharatan Wahanse, Sattami Bhante Bhagava Savakohamasmi. Did you remember that? So so we have that at the background, at the back page here, in the back page, and then I will read that. That's beautiful. You can close your eyes and listen to me. That's how our Mahakassapa Maharatan Wahanse, great Arahant Mahakassapa Bhante, said at the first time when he saw the Supreme Buddha. If I should ever see the teacher, it is the Blessed One himself that I would see. If I should ever see the well-gone one, it is the Blessed One himself that I would see. If I should ever see the perfectly self-enlightened one, it is the Blessed One himself that I would see. Venerable Sir, the Blessed One is my teacher. I am his disciple. Venerable Sir, the Blessed One is my teacher. I am his disciple. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. If you remember, we were talking about the striving, the austerities that our Mahabodhisattva was practicing in a forest monastery. And then he was trying to find the perfect path for the enlightenment, practicing different kinds of austerities, giving so much of suffering to his body. But his mind was very mindful and then okay to do this, if you remember. We were talking about his eating, we were talking about his sleeping, we were talking about his practice and all the things, trying to find the perfect way for the enlightenment, to become the Buddha. He suffered a lot for 6 years. And also we will continue this amazing person and a person's practice like this. So I have also something to share with you from the book that we have on my hand today. This is the first thing that I share with you. The first slide will go to Hiru.
Unbelievable striving of our Mahabodhisattva, with teeth clenched and tongue pressed against the roof of my mouth. I squeezed, squashed, and tortured mind with mind until sweat ran from my armpits.
Sweat ran from my armpits. Many minutes for your beautiful reading. If someone else is able to explain this extremely hard practice, how do you say? Anybody else? Sandesh, what do you think about this? So this is the Mahabodhisattva, our Prince Siddhartha being in the forest, striving. What do you think about this?
He is given torture to the body?
Mhm. Is it like anybody else can do?
No.
No, never. No one can do this kind of striving, this kind of torturing, this kind of practice. No one can do. But he did. He did for the benefit and happiness of ours. Okay, we will go to the next thing that we can learn about our Mahabodhisattva's practice like this. Breathless meditation. This goes to um, Amanda. Amanda, do you hear me? Okay.
Meditation.
Yes.
I cut off my breathing through my mouth and nose, but then winds came out of my ears, making a loud noise like the cracking of a blacksmith bellows.
Okay. See, he tried this kind of meditation too. Breathless meditation without breathing. He tried to meditate. He tried to find the perfect way, but he was unable to. I cut off my breathing through my mouth and nose. We cannot live maybe a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes. No, we don't live without breathing. But he tried that. He says, then winds came out of my ears, making a loud noise. Ears making a loud noise, like the puffing backsmith's bellows. That's amazing. And then we'll quickly go to the next slide. What about I got to read that.
Thank you, Bante. Then some deities saw me and said, the ascetic Gautama is dead. Others said, he is not dead, but he is dying. Others said, he is not dead or dying. The ascetic Gautama is a perfected one, for that is how the perfected ones live.
Thank you for your reading. Many merits. So deities, they invited the Mahabodhisattva when he was living in Tusita heaven as Santusita, King Santusita. All the deities came to him and invited him to come to this human world to become the Supreme Buddha. Now they are waiting the Prince Siddhartha to become the Supreme Buddha. They were saying the Prince Siddhartha Mahabodhisattva was striving being in the forest like that, breathless meditation without eating, and so like he was very weak physically. And then the Devas thought that, oh, this Prince Siddhartha is almost dead. Someone said, no, he is not dead, he is dying. This is how they died. So someone said, no, he is now achieved the liberation, the Buddhahood. They said that's how the perfected ones lives. See, they they don't even know about the the real Buddhahood, real the enlightenment. They did not know about that too. So what about the other beings then? Even the Mahabodhisattva did not know about that. Okay, we will go to the next slide, and that will for um, Tehan. You ready to read? We'll see. Maybe the first part. It's a long one.
Then it occurred to me, why don't I practice completely cutting off food? But deities came to me and said, "Good sir, don't practice totally cutting off food. If you do, you will insert the divine nectar into you and you will live on that."
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And then, Hiru, what is going on? How do you explain this incident? The Mahabodhisattva decided to stop eating. Then what's going on there?
So it's going on. So like then because then it came to the Buddha, the messages what the deity said.
Mhm.
So s- s- so he thought why don't he could completely cut off the food.
Right. And then if he cuts off all the eating, what would happen?
He would die.
Chamudi, Chamudi, what would happen if he cuts off all eating, all the food?
If he cut off the food, then they said that they were good. They said, "Good sir, don't practice totally cutting off food. If you do, we'll insert divine nectar into you, and you will live on that."
Right. Why? Why do they think like that? The Devas excited him to become the Buddha, and then they did not want him to die without food. Why? They wanted him to become the Buddha. And they said, we will insert divine nectar into your body. Then do not stop eating. They said, Devas said, is that clear, everybody? Okay, Subodha, the next paragraph is for you then.
Emma answered. Then
Mhm.
I thought, if I claim to be completely fasting, while these deities are inserting divine nectar in me, that would be a lie on my part. So I dismissed those deities, saying there's no need.
Okay, what happened then, Subodha? What happened?
The Bodhisattva said and thought if he said he was going to practice cutting off food entirely, but that they would put heavenly food in him,
Mhm.
and that would be a lie because he says he's cutting off food entirely. So he just said the day was to go away because there's no need for them to put food in him.
Yeah, that's very true. Like it's hopeless, like it's meaningless if he cuts off eating food. It's like Devas will do something different. Okay, you understand that? So then you want to understand the ways he followed. He followed to become the enlightenment. Diana, how about the next slide for you? Like that. Diana, you ready?
MS answer.
Okay, try your best.
Then I thought, whatever ascetics and Brahmas have experienced painful, sharp, severe, serious feelings, whether in the past, future, or present, this is not as far as it goes. No one has done more than this.
Okay, how do you understand that? He said himself to himself, this is not someone has done before. Such a terrible, such a very painful experience he had been in the forest for 6 years, torturing himself to find the Buddhahood. That's why he eventually said that no one has done more than this. No one can do that. Okay? No one can do that. Did you understand that?
MS
Mm-hmm. And then we will, Linda, is that your chance?
Yes, Bhante.
Hmm.
But I have not achieved any superhuman distinction in knowledge and vision, worthy of the noble ones by this severe, exhausting work. Could there be another path to enlightenment?
Okay. Linda, what is it? How did you understand that?
Bante, I understand this that the Supreme Buddha, after the extraordinary extreme self-mortification, despite of that, he did not achieve any superhuman distinction. That means he did not achieve the enlightenment yet, despite of all the extreme self-mortification that he did. So then he started to think maybe this is not the right path to attain enlightenment.
Yeah, and he is going to try a different path.
Yes, he was thinking to try another way. That means he will leave this practice of self-mortification.
Yes. My next question is from Minupa. Minupa, do you remember this picture? Wherever, or Subodha, or Hiru. Do you remember this picture?
Also, it's in the old the Dhamma place in where the arms are served. There's this frame is there, like close to some stairs.
At home, your home?
Also, this is not in my home,
Mm-hmm.
but in upstairs, I do have many photos, like of Rahatan Vansis and Buddha.
Good, good. Okay, you're right. This is the
This is in Asapur.
This is in the Asapur, our monastery. In the Dhanasala, in our alms hall, we have this beautiful painting about our Mahabodhisattva. You see the bones of his body in his chest, right? And then how about his eyes? Eyes, like he is very, he's having a very painful things about his body and his limbs, his neck and everything. His beauty is gone right now. Without food, without striving. Do you know that he is a prince? He's an amazing prince, very delicate and very strong. But now he is without food, he is without shelter, he is without anything, family or nothing. But he is trying to find the real happiness to share with everybody else in the world. Okay, and then now, do you remember that he was thinking about a different plan? This is not the way for the enlightenment. Giving so much of suffering to the body is not the way. And then he is thinking about something different. And then he just reminded something from his childhood like this. Maybe we were talking about this too before too, if you remember. And then this chance goes to Metara. You ready?
Then it occurred to me. I recall sitting in the cool shade of the rose apple tree while my father, the Sakyan king, was off working. I entered and remained in the first jhana, which has the rapture and bliss born of seclusion, while placing the mind and keeping it connected. Could that be the path to awakening?
Okay, how did you understand this, Minupa?
No, but that's not an answer. So this was when this Bodhisattva recalled when he was a prince. This was during the plowing festival, I believe,
Yes,
that King
right.
Suddhodana held. And at that point, the young Prince Siddhartha was under a tree and started meditating. And at one point he started to levitate. And I think that was one of the times when King Siddhartha worshipped Prince Siddhartha. So this was the moment that he recalled, and at this point decided to try the same thing he did when he was still a prince,
Yes,
which was to try to concentrate on his breathing.
that's very true. That's the real thing, actually. He remembered the experience when he was very little under the rose apple tree in the paddy field. And then he was trying that too, right now, giving up all that austerities. And then, have you ever heard about this? Two extremes. He had two extremes. As a prince, he was the pursuit of sensual pleasures in sensual pleasures. And then maybe he was giving so much of sensual pleasures, something beautiful to his eyes, to ears, and food and everything, perfect things. He enjoyed the sensual pleasures. But that's not the way for the enlightenment. That's not just the way for the liberation, he understood. That's why he had his great renunciation. And being in the forest for 6 years, he gave so much of suffering to his body instead of like in search of the permanent happiness called enlightenment, the Buddhaship, which is called Atta Kilamatanu Yoga. I want you to remember these two words. First one is Kama Sukhalli Kanu Yoga, which means experiencing so much of happiness about sensual pleasures. Kama, which means the sensual pleasures. Sukhalli Kanu Yoga means enjoying or consuming. Atta Kila Matanu Yoga, the pursuit of self mortification, giving so much of suffering to his body. These are the two paths he tried for the enlightenment. Do you remember the first one is Kama Sukhalli Kanu Yoga? I want you to remember these two words, Pali words. Kama Sukhalli Kanu Yoga. And then the second one is Atta Kilamatanu Yoga. The Kilamatanu Yoga. Being in the forest, he tried the second one without eating, Atta Kilamatanu Yoga. And then eventually he understood these two paths are not the path for the liberation or the Buddhahood. And then he tried the next one, which is called the middle path. So we will read about that too. This will go to Arjuna. Are you here? Okay, Dave. Then this will go to Isuru. Do you hear me, Isura? Okay, Peter.
Now, at that time, the 5 bhikkhus were attending on me, thinking the ascetic Gautama will tell us of any truth that he realizes. But when I ate some solid food, they left disappointed in me.
Okay. What did you understand that, Peter? So 5 ascetics or maybe 5 bhikkhus, they lived with the Siddhartha Gautama too. But they thought that, so in the picture you see that they are living because Siddhartha Gautama is giving up his austerities. They are giving away. In the picture you see, how do you explain this, Peter? How do you understand that?
I guess perhaps they thought he was giving in and he was being weak by eating solid food. So they decided they didn't want to follow him anymore. But in truth, he'd been to the extremes of what could be achieved by the austerities, and it made sort of a realization, but they didn't realize that, and they left him.
Yes, it is. So they believed in the five ascetics believed in the master, the Siddhartha Gautama, and then they expected the Siddhartha Gautama to become the Buddha in the way he followed. But when he started eating, they were disappointed, or the Buddha or the Siddhartha Gautama changed his mind. And he gave up the idea of becoming the Buddha. And because of that, they left. See, they are living in the picture. They are leaving. They were disappointed and they left. Isra, the next part is for you.
Yeah, my son, somehow in the science, my clock was going on in the background.
That's all right. This is the place actually our Mahabodhisattva was striving in India, the real place. Okay, you will see the picture. I have that. See the picture. This is the real. This is called Pragbodhi, which means the prior enlightenment. He was striving. Yes, sir.
In my sense. This is the mountain where the Prince Siddhartha practiced austerities for 6 years before he went to Bodhigaya for the final realization.
Yes. Do you see the picture? It's like very barren, okay? No trees, like no water, but he lived there. He lived there for his practice. And then I have another picture too about Pragbodhi. If you have been to India, Linda, did you visit this place?
We actually did, Bante. We
Okay.
are blessed, yes.
Yes. Do you remember this mountain?
Yes.
And then the cave.
The cave.
This is the mountain the Mahabodhisattva was striving, living without food. This is the cave. Inside the cave, we can see this beautiful, actually the very heart-touching image of the Mahabodhisattva. Is that true, Linda?
It is very true, Bante. We actually went into the cave and worshiped the Supreme Buddha. Yes.
And then, yes, this is how he was practicing his austerities. Hopefully, everybody in the future, you will get the chance to go and visit the amazing place of our Mahabodhisattva, who became very diligent in his practice. And then here you got many information about the Mahabodhisattva's practice. And then before the enlightenment, at the night he was sleeping and he had a dream. Actually, he had 5 dreams, and we are here to talk about those dreams. The first dream is about Dinudaham, your chance.
Yeah, my son. So.
This is the first dream he had.
The great dreams of Mahabodhisattva. The first dream. The great earth was his bed. Himalayas, king of mountains, was his pillow. His left hand was laid down in the eastern sea. His right hand was laid down in the western sea. And both his feet were laid down in the southern sea. This meant this great man would become a Buddha.
Okay, Dinu. How do you explain the first dream of Mahabodhisattva?
The first dream, because this was before Supreme Buddha was enlightened, he thought like he was on top of the mountains and he was laying down on the mountain.
Yeah, see the picture? And then?
And his hand was on, his right hand was laid down on the western sea,
and his left hand was on the eastern sea,
Mhm.
and his feet were on the southern sea.
Yeah, you see the map, the mountain Himalayas, and then the island Sri Lanka, India, and his hands. This is the first dream. And what's the meaning of this dream, Savitu?
It meant that the Buddha thought, like Siddhartha, before he became a Buddha, he thought that he depicted this as that he will become a great man.
Right, that was the exact meaning of that dream. And then I want you to remember the first dream. He was sleeping, actually lying down, keeping his head on the mountain Himalayas and his hands in the seas, and then like that. And then the second dream for again Chandil. Okay, this is the second dream. The picture, see the picture, and then you might understand. Okay, go ahead.
A plant grew from his navel and kept rising higher and higher into the sky. This was a sign that he would teach not only human beings, but also devas and brahmas. He would be the teacher of humans and devas, Satta Deva Manusana. He would be the teacher of all beings, and his teaching would be beneficial to welfare and happiness of all beings.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Beautiful reading. So how do you explain, Pute, the second dream? How did he dream? Okay. Be hung. How do you understand this second dream? Your mic? I think we don't hear you because your mic is mute.
He already free from everything.
Okay, that was the dream he had. Okay, he was dreaming before the enlightenment, and then the dream was like a plant grew from his navel and kept arising, which means that he would become the teacher for the devas and humans. That's very good. Thank you. And then the third dream is for, this is the third dream, is for again to on it.
White caterpillars with black heads crawled from his feet and covered his knees. This indicated that countless householders would become his disciples. Those who had been entangled in various rites and rituals and blind faith would learn the Dhamma from him and gain infinite benefit.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. But you understand the picture is a little different. What's the difference in the picture? Anybody else? The third dream. White caterpillars with black heads. What's the difference in the picture? Yeah, someone else?
Oh, sorry, Bante. I think the picture shows the not caterpillars, but there are like real human beings. Yes, lay disciples.
Right. But the meaning, I guess that the painter tried to give the real meaning of the picture, right?
Yes, correct, Bante.
Yes. So he dreamed that the white caterpillars with black heads, which means like lay people, came to him, and then the meaning of this picture is they would become the disciples of the Supreme Buddha. That was the third dream. Do you remember the first dream? Dinodham, what was the first dream?
Sansa, the first dream was about the Supreme Buddha, like dreaming that he was on top of the mountains and
Very
his
good.
left hand was on the
Okay.
eastern
What
sea.
was the second dream?
Is it me, Bante?
Yeah.
So the second dream was that he dreamed that a navel, and that from his navel a plant grew upper into the sky.
Very good. And then that means he would become the teacher of devas and humans. And then who remembers the third dream? One more time. Subodha.
And the third dream is the white white caterpillars with black heads crawling up from his feet and covering the Buddha's knees.
Very good. And then who knows the third dream, the fourth dream? Stenila, this is your chance, okay? For the fourth dream.
Fifth dream, someone answer?
The fourth,
Why?
the fifth, oh, excuse me. Yes, the fourth dream, thank you.
Oh, okay. Fourth dream. 4 birds of different colors came from the 4 directions. They fell at his feet, turning pure white. This indicated that people of all 4 classes, Brahmas, Brahmins, Kshatriyas, kings' families, Vishayas, business people, and Shudras, lower castes, would become his disciples, become monks and nuns, and get liberated from the cycle of life and death.
Very good. But there's a little difference in the picture. How did you understand that, Senon? What's the difference? 4 birds of different colors came from the 4 directions. What's the difference between the picture and the information? Senon.
It means that people from all 4 classes, Brahmana, so Brahmins and kings' families, business people, and lower castes will be his disciples.
Okay, that's good. Okay, that's very good. That's the meaning of the dream. But it says that 4 birds of different colors. But we have lots of birds in the sky, right? And became white birds. So all the classes, all the people from all the classes, 4 classes actually, 4 castes would come to the Buddha and become same. That's just the meaning of the 4th dream. And Senon, again, your chance for the 5th dream. Senon's your chance.
5th dream. He saw that he was walking back and forth on top of a huge mountain covered with excrement, but it did not touch him. This indicated that even though he lived in this world, he would keep himself detached from the world and always remain pure.
Very good. How did you understand that? He was walking in a huge mountain of excrements, but he was pure. He was not get dirty. Because the meaning of this, the dream is, Aga, how did you understand the meaning?
So the meaning I understood is that the Buddha will be live among people with defilements maybe and impurities, but he will be untouched of all of this. He will be pure.
He will be very pure. That's very true. Thank you for your sharing. And then I want you to remember the 5 dreams, all these 5 dreams clearly that the Mahabodhisattva before his enlightenment had. The first dream again, He was lying down, sleeping, keeping his head on the mountain Himalayas and his hands in the seas. And then the second dream, a plant grew from his navel, and then mm, which means like to the sky, unlimited. And then the meaning of this, he would become the teacher for devas and humans. Remember? And then the third dream, the white caterpillars with black heads came to his feet, and this means like the lay people, lay uncountable lay disciples would become the followers of the Supreme Buddha. And then the fourth dream was four birds in different colors, in four different colors came to him and became white, pure white, which means four people, four kinds of caste. People would come to the Supreme Buddha and become same. And then the fifth dream was he was walking on a huge mountain of excrement without touching them, which means the Buddha is detached from the world. Is that clear, everybody?
Yes, Bhante.
Yeah, my
Okay.
answer.
Okay. Minupa, again, your chance to explain these 5 dreams to the people clearly.
Yeah, so the first dream was the Buddha who was lying down on the mountain. So his head was on the Himalaya mountains, and then his legs was facing the southern sea, and his 2 hands were in the east and west oceans, or the seas. And this dream was to kind of represent that the Buddha would become, or the Bodhisattva would become a Buddha. The second dream was a plant that was growing from the Buddha's navel. This represented that not only would the Buddha teach Dhamma to humans, but also to gods as well. So like the Satadeva Manusana. The third dream was the caterpillars that were white with black heads, and they were crawling up to the Buddha's knees. This dream represented the that the Buddha would teach many household disciples and who had different views, and they would all gain great benefit from learning the Dhamma. The fourth dream were there's 4 birds with different colors from the 4 directions who would all kind of fall at the feet of the Buddha and turn white. This represented that the 4 clans of people, or the 4 castes, so the Brahma, the what was it, the king's families, the business people, and like the lower caste, all 4 of the castes, all 4 like of the castes, the people within them will all become disciples of the Buddha. And then the next dream was there was a mountain of excrement, and the Buddha was walking back and forth, but the excrement never touched the Buddha's feet. This represented that even though the Buddha was living in this world, he would remain pure.
Very good. Sadhu, sadhu. I rejoice the good merit you collected. So that's the meaning of these 5 dreams, and I want you to remember. And then this is the final day of his striving, and he started giving up that striving, the austere practices, and then he started meditating. That was the night he dreamt that. Okay, and then Pasindu, something is going on next before the enlightenment of our Supreme Buddha. Are you ready to read that too?
My son answer.
Yes, this was about something really beautiful. See the picture? Maybe you have seen this picture. Yeah, you're reading.
The future Buddha receiving the milk porridge offered by Sujata. From the day the great being had gone forth from the household life, 6 years had passed. Here he has decided eating normal food, and his body has returned to a normal state. She was the daughter of a householder in a village in Uruvela,
Nigama, she is offering a dish of rice gruel with milk, rice cooked with pure cow's milk.
Okay, very good. Who offered that milk rice to the Supreme Buddha? The name?
Sujata.
Sujata. Do you remember the village? She offered that milk rice. She came to the Buddha. Here you see the word
Uruvela
Uruvela.
Senanigam.
Uruvela Senanigama. I want you to remember these words, Uruvela and Senanigama. And she was Sujata. Sujata. And we have more information about Sujata. This goes to Kevin and Laura.
Sujata had made an prayer to the deity of a certain banyan tree asking for a son. Then she gave birth to a meritorious son called Yasa.
When she had obtained what she wished for, she cooked the milk rice and prepared it in a golden bowl, cost 100,000 gold coins as an offering in thanks.
She had that idea to have a son praying to the deity of the tree, banyan tree. Maybe you have seen banyan trees. I have a picture too. And then by the time she got that son, she was really happy to offer in thanks to the deity with milk rice. It's a golden bowl filled with milk rice, just pure milk. And she cooked that with her maid. You see the picture, right? This is a picture in Kalaniya in Sri Lanka, a painting, Kalani Vihara, the temple in Kalaniya, Sri Lanka. Okay, and then she was very happy to offer that milk rice to the deity. But by the time she was coming to the banyan tree, that was not a deity, that was the Mahabodhisattva, striving for the Buddhahood. And Viswajit and his sister maybe for the next part of the story. Viswajit and Kalansuri, Viswajit, Kalansuri and children. Do you know?
When the rice was cooked, Sujata sent the servant girl to clean up the area around the banyan tree. The servant girl came back to Sujata with the report that the tree deity who was to receive the offerings had appeared and was already sitting at the foot of the banyan tree.
So the servant girl thought that the real deity has come down from the tree and sitting, and you're here to offer. And then Tuvini and Chinoli, your chance for the next part of the story. Oh, see, this is the real banyan tree, the picture. And at the banyan tree, there was a beautiful shrine room offering milk rice to the Supreme Buddha by Sujata. You see this picture. Did you see this place, Linda, when you traveled in India?
I don't remember. Maybe we did, but we did go to the stupa. You know, they built a stupa close by. Yes.
Okay. See, that place is very isolated. It's not like, you see that? That should be a very, very, very special place for the Buddhists, right? But that no one is there and very isolated.
Yes.
Nothing is there, but it's a very, very sacred place. And then Tuvini and Tinuli, your chance. Ready.
In my swine answer, excited, Sujata lifted the bowl of milk rice to her head and carried it to the banyan tree. together with her servant girl, seeing that it was her servant that had told her, she came forward and offered the bowl of milk rice.
Yes. How did you understand that part?
Like since it was her servant that told her to bring the milk rice, she allowed her servant to offer it. Well, she came with her servant and she offered the milk rice to the Buddha.
Yes, very good, very good. And then we have only one part from this story. This goes to Nelit, or Nelit, right? Yeah. Or anyone else who did not read before. Get the chance and read. Anybody else? Onet, you read, right?
Yes, Swami Mansa.
Okay. Someone else maybe. Yeah, Senile. You read, okay? You read, yes. Okay, someone else who did not read. Please get the chance. Okay, Amanda.
Officer Sanhansa, can I read?
Yeah.
The great being received it and looked at Sujata. She understood from his look that he had no bowl or any other dish with which to eat the food, and so she made an offering of both the rice and the dish. Having offered the rice, she walked back to her house full of happiness, believing that she had made offerings to a deva.
Very good, very good. That's a beautiful picture she is offering. I rejoice all the good merits all the good merits you have collected by reading and supporting this program. And then many good information we learn from this part too. And then I want you to remember especially the 5 dreams our Mahabodhisattva had before his enlightenment. Okay? The first dream, second one, third one. If I share the pictures again, okay? And the meanings of the pictures. Okay, and we were talking about many things about our Mahabodhisattvas striving like this. Okay, breathless meditation without eating. And eventually he started giving up. So he started giving up his striving and tried to different path. And he remembered the experience he had as a child, and he gave up these kinds of 2 extremes, right? Atthakila Yoga and Kamasukallikanuyoga. He gave up and started to practice, but his body is not okay for that. So he decided to eat well, like this. By starting eating well, to make his body perfect for the enlightenment, the 5 ascetics left him, disappointed. Why? They thought that this is not the perfect path. The Siddhartha Gautama gave up their striving, gave up the Buddhahood, and then they left. And he became alone. That's just the way they experience. Like this is the place he strived, remember, at the cave temple, and then the image of the Buddha. And then before that enlightenment, he had the dream, and then now he wants to have some delicious the nutriments, and then Sujata gave that food, milk rice. That was the story. This is the real place of Uruvela Senanigama. These are the very good things that we learn from this episode too, about our Mahabodhisattva, about our Supreme Buddha. You would be really excited to learn more about the enlightenment of our supremely enlightened Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.